Hey, what's up you guys? It's Scott with Engineered Income, and today I want to talk to you about why you should not be using hard money for your real estate deals. Now, the example that we'll focus on today is a traditional fix and flip. So you buy a property, hopefully off market, right? You buy a property under market value, you do some repairs and improvements on the property, and then you flip and resell that property in as short of a time period as possible so you can maximize your profit. Now, in the past, a classic way for people to close on these deals is to use what's called hard money. So hard money can be a quick way for you to get the funding needed to close on a deal. The problem is this comes at a price, and usually that price is you giving up some of your profit. So I want to go through just a couple slides I put together on a tangible real-world example of why hard money is not how I recommend you go forth in starting to get into fix and flip properties, because it's going to cost you money. And even though sometimes it's the path of least resistance, maybe you can reach out to a hard money lender and within a few days or a week, you can go from zero funds to enough funds to close on a deal. Sometimes that's not the correct path. So let's take a look at a real world example and show you what that actually costs you if you go with hard money opposed to a few other options. So we have an example property here, and it is a duplex, 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. It's a bread and butter deal. This is what you should be starting on because it's going to have the largest population of buyers in your area, so it should be much easier to sell. We have a purchase price of $95,000 and then an after repaired value. So after we do the repairs, we're going to try to sell that for $145,000. And then our project timeline is 120 days. Now, this is just what we call lipstick rehab. So carpet, paint, light fixtures, pretty easy rehab overall. It's a great way to start off if you don't have a ton of experience, but we're still doing 4 months for our timeline. And that's because this is most likely your first deal or one of your first deals. So you might not have your full network of contractors. You might not have your go-to materials priced out and picked out for what you'll use. You might make a couple mistakes. Closing, don't forget on that sell side, after you get a signed contract, you're looking at 30 to 45 days closing, and hopefully that comes through and it doesn't fall through, or that's how you can really expand these timelines out. So 120 days or 4 months might sound unrealistic, but that often is what happens on your first deal. Our rehab budget is going to be $15,000, so a pretty light rehab on this. Realtor commission in our area is 6%, so we're looking at $9,000 will go to commissions, and then closing costs of $3,500. Now, before we get our profit, we have to look at what's called the cost of capital. How much are we going to need to pay out in interest or other fees for us to get the funding needed to execute on this deal? So let's look at those options and why I say do not go with hard money. So with hard money, we use those same numbers pulled through, but then we have 2 different fees that we're going to need to pay, or 2 different basically costs of using this form of funding. And that is points. So that is a certain percentage of the loaned value. So in this case, we're going to get the $95,000 loan to us and also the $15,000. So $110,000 is the loaned amount. And then the points from this hard money example is 2.5%. This can be very realistic in your instance, especially if you don't have much experience and that you're working with the hard money lender for the first time. So that's going to cost us over the length of the loan. It's the same amount, right? It's just 2.5% of that amount, and that's $2,750. This is often hard money lenders, how they really increase their overall return on the capital that they're deploying, right? So if this actually only takes 2 months, 3 months, and maybe even 4 months, now they have earned an additional $2,750 on the loaned amount, and that was only for a partial year. So you can see how this increases their percentage return over the year by 4, 5, 6, 7% over just the interest that they are going to charge you. So this is a way for them to make more money. And I get it. That's what I would do and have done if I'm the lender. And then interest. So interest of 12%, which again is very reasonable, and that is going to be your highest interest rate in terms of your options. And that would work out over our time period of 120 days to $4,400. So when this all shakes out, we sold the property for $145, and then we subtract off all of our costs, including the cost of capital, those two line items there. Now we're looking at a profit of $16,350. Now, if this is your first deal, that's still a slam dunk. That's fantastic that you made a profit on your first deal. You learned a ton, right? You've expanded your network, you got the ball rolling, and now you have some momentum. So that isn't a bad thing, but it could be better. And in terms of your first few deals, you want to have as many things on your side to hopefully equal a profit and not a loss, so you can continue the momentum and build from that. And how you do that. So if you can lower one thing, you can lower the cost of capital. So if you did private money, and what is private money? Pretty simple. You can just think of it as maybe friends or family. And this being 2020 going into 2021, there is many people that have money on the sidelines that would like to deploy that and get an 8 or 10% in this example return on their money. Now, why I say 10% here, because usually private money you can get down lower than 10%, but don't forget, you're probably starting off, you don't have a huge track record, so you got to prove yourself and prove that you can deliver on what you've promised. So you're going to have a little higher interest rate at the start. The other big benefit of private money is you don't have any points. So right away, boom, we're saving $2,750, so we don't have any points. And then over the 120-day period, we're only spending $3,600 on interest. So that is going to increase our profit on this project by more than $3,500. Now, all these small amounts, $3,500 here, $5,000 here, if you can start saving on labor and materials and you get your timeline tighter, this is how you build a very healthy and growing and dynamic real estate business, whether you're doing fix and flip or a combination of fix and flip, rentals, and maybe wholesaling. So the final option that I'll go over is a company called SoFi. So SoFi is a completely online bank, and they provide personal loans that you could use for things like real estate. And they have many other products as well. But specifically for this property, I use SoFi. And with SoFi, I was able to go in on a Sunday night, fill out the application, fill in all the details, give a picture of my license and everything else that they need to validate that you are who you say you are. On Sunday night, I was able to apply for a loan for this property. Then by Tuesday, so Tuesday midday, I had the funds in my account and I did not talk to anybody. And what I ended up paying over the life of this loan was 7% interest. So that was amazing. I was actually pretty blown away on the ease of the process. Now, with that said, I don't have any credit card debt. I don't have any car loans. I'm in a fairly good situation. So I obviously do think that came into play in terms of the ease of getting that personal loan. So depending on your situation, it might be at that easy or maybe a little bit more difficult. But in terms of a loan like this, that now lowered that interest rate 3% compared to the private money, and that is going to increase your profit over the hard money by over $4,500, so $4,650. Again, these are the small wins that you need to really increase your momentum as you're starting off in real estate investing. So those are my examples. Now, this is a real world example. These are not made up numbers. And actually, the numbers on this property were much better than what I'm showing here. So this is something you can do. Now, this property was off market. I by far got it under market value. So I could have sold it the next day and done nothing to it and made a profit. That is what you need to do. But cost of capital is a big key, and that is going to free you up to do deals. So if you have capital and it's available to you, then you can close on deals quicker and you are a more attractive offer to that seller. Now, ultimately, what you want to get to is using your own money. That's my approach. That is where I am at now and where I want to stay. And that's because now you're going to just basically save on interest because you're only using your own funds. Now, whether that's in a self-directed solo 401k account, not a self-directed IRA, but a self-directed solo 401k account, which is an amazing vehicle to do real estate deals in. And it's basically what's called checkbook control of your 401k. or it's just money that you've saved up, or it's maybe a line of credit because you have a lot of equity in your own home, or maybe you have a bunch of rental properties that have equity and you can go to a bank and they'll basically give you a credit card-ish, a line of credit, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 or much more, where then you can pull on that and purchase properties and only pay right now at the end of 2020 about 4.25% or lower. So it's an amazing interest rate that can really accelerate your growth in this area. So let me know what questions you guys have. Are you doing this already? Are you starting off? Does this not make sense? Does it make a ton of sense? Do you want to do SoFi? Any of those, let me know those questions, and don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to the channel. We'll have videos like this talking about real estate investing, but then also our YouTube channel and other online income streams to help you guys build up a side hustle or go full-time, control your own schedule, and really build your own business. That is really the motivation of the channel. It's to help you guys get time freedom and see what other options are out there besides just a normal job corporate kind of job. So there is a ton out there right now, but you have to do your homework and you have to hustle. So we'll catch you on the next video, and thanks for sticking around.